Has been brought to you by Valley Firearms, your one-stop destination for all your firearms needs, shipping Canada-wide, coast to coast. Secret Creek Supplies for all your ultralight backpacking needs and much, much more. Secret Creek Kennels, no pets too big or too small, we do them all. On today's episode, Jackie and I look back on the 2023 and 2024 season and wrap up the series.
3 days solid and then it got cold. Now there's a crust on the snow, which is bad for the deer and elk because they get all cut up in the back of here.
In this edition of WestKOutdoors, we really want to wrap up the season, and it's been an interesting season.
A tough season.
A tough season, and not just for us, but everybody.
For everybody in the West Kootenays anyway.
Yeah,
I don't want to say atmospheric river, but there's been a lot of extreme weather.
Yeah, we had a late start to winter.
A late start to winter, a warm winter.
Yes.
Not enough snow.
No.
The creeks were running like crazy. It's been super hard on the equipment. I'll be buying a set of skis for the snowmobile. Not that there was any money in trapping at all anyway, but now there's even less because the equipment's been taking a beating, driving up the roads to the trap line in the dirt to get to the snow. And then when you get to the snow, the creeks are all full and the cross stitches are full. So it's been tough. It's been real hard on the equipment. We did use the snowcat quite a bit, so that was a good purchase. It makes the difference for the seasons, the late season and the early season. When you don't get a lot of snow, you can go from dirt to snow, back to dirt to snow, and it takes it better till you get to the deep snow, which we really didn't have this year. But the poor old trapping sled, the 2014 Polaris, she took a beating crossing creeks this year and ingesting rocks in the tunnel.
So you see what happened right here? The moose is actually worn off the hair and is bleeding from the back of his shanks of his foot. Or leg, I guess you should say, from walking through the crusty snow, because it rained for like 3 days solid and then it got cold. Now there's a crust on the snow, which is bad for the deer and elk because they get all cut up in the back of here. So he's bleeding from here and he's actually taking the hair off the back of his legs, walking through the crusty snow and bleeding. And that's bad news. Bad news. That's what the wolves are looking around for, animals that are, this is where they're really susceptible to wolves, because the wolves can run across the top of the snow on top of the crust, whereas the deer and elk, they poke through. So it's a bad time of the year to be a deer or an elk. So hopefully the snow conditions change before the wolves move in. So you see what happened here. There was a moose wandering along feeding right here. So the moose is wandering around feeding, and then he laid right here and bedded. Okay, and he's even bleeding a little bit from his feet from the hard snow, because there's a hard crust on the snow because it melted. So he's bleeding. And then a coyote came along. You can see his track right here, the coyote track. And he poops right here because there's a smell of a moose there. And that's just the way dogs are. When they smell a scent, they lay down a scent. So that's what went on here. Moose comes along, beds here, bleeds a little bit from his feet because the snow's hard and crusty underneath this fresh snow. Coyote comes along, smells the moose there and the blood, poops on the spot.
Okay, so what we got here, folks, is a large mature male. That's what we want to target here on the line. I've already checked him out. He is a large mature male. He's a beauty though. That's a very expensive marten right there. So that's the kind we're looking for all the time. Well, I'll show you here. He's a pretty nice marten. So yeah, you wouldn't want to fight with this guy. He's got some pretty good teeth in him. And you have a look at those claws. They can climb trees pretty good, and they're pretty, they fight above their weight class, these predators, like a mini Wolverine. Looks like we got a little ermine in the trap. They're set for marten, but sometimes these ermine, they get in the traps because they're a little smaller. They can sneak past the triggers and they steal the bait, but it's like playing Russian roulette. Eventually they lose and we get them. That's about $3 there is all, but we're gonna skin them. We kill them, we skin them. So everything that we, all the fur that we get on the line, we put up. With 12 to 13 seasons of a 6-point bull elk season in the West Kootenays, it's becoming vitally important to have good optics
be it right from your trail camera to your scope to your binoculars. You need to be able to see whether or not the bull is legal so you don't make a mistake. And you need 1 inch tine minimum and 6 1-inch tines. So your 6-point's got to have a 1-inch tine on the 6-point. So you see an awful lot of 5-point bull elk as herd bulls now in the West Kootenays. So we're finding that we're able to call in the bulls, but so often we have to err on the side of caution and not shoot the bull because we just can't be sure that he's legal. They look like they're legal, but it's too late when it's on the ground. So you need to take your time and be sure, absolutely sure. So optics, very important in the West Kootenays. Plus you can burn up an awful lot of time hunting a bull that's not legal. And then when you finally get him out, you've already committed a week or two to hunting him. You get a good look at him finally out in the open, and then find out that he is not legal to shoot or is too marginal to take a chance on. So that's where a lot of your season goes, just trying to find that legal bull. And then when you do get him out, you find out that he's just too marginal to take a chance on. Hi, John.
Hello, Scott. How are you today?
Good, really good. I'm ready for a new scope finally.
Perfect.
It's only been about 30 years.
Well, just about time to upgrade then.
Yeah, yeah. Super happy that it's just getting a bit milky.
Yeah.
If you look through it, just because I've cleaned it so much with my shirt.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's...
We can sell you a cleaning cloth.
Yeah.
Staying in the same brand, here we have, this is the Leupold VX3 and a 3.5 to 10 by 50. So with this, you get their zero locks.
How does that work?
So when you're zeroed, you have to press this button to change your dial.
Okay, I never do that. I always just shoot with whatever it's set at.
Yeah, so it locks on your zero.
Okay.
But if you did want to shoot a longer distance and you wanted so many clicks, you have to press that button first, which is a real nice feature on these scopes. And then when you go back to zero, it pops back out.
Oh, perfect.
So again, locks you in place. Some don't have a locking feature. So as it comes in and out of the scabbard or the backpack, that dial can turn on you.
Yeah.
And when the elk comes out at 75 meters, and your scope's dialed up to 500, it's a little harder to be precise with it.
Yeah.
So that would be one that I would suggest.
Okay. And the nice thing about buying here instead of online is I can come and take it outside
Absolutely.
and go see how
Take it
compares.
outside and look up the hill.
Okay, well, I'll take maybe 2.
Okay. Now this is the next step up. So this is going into their VX5 HD.
Okay.
So you're going to have a little bit better everything kind of across the board on this one. Yeah.
What's the third dial for?
This is your parallax.
Okay.
So if you're shooting out farther distance, this is going to focus your crosshairs to the distance that you're shooting.
Oh, I see.
So if you've ever looked through your scope and when you move your head, it seems like the crosshairs moved on the animal, that's your parallax out of adjustment.
Oh, okay.
So this allows you to dial that right in. So no matter what distance you're going to shoot, you know, it has marks from 50 up to 600 and then basically infinity beyond that, which for anyone hunting, 600 is a real long distance, and
250, anything over
is a long shot around
is
here.
long for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's those two, and we can take them outside. And you can take a look through them.
I'm going to do that. Okay.
I'll come over and give you a hand with it if you want.
Okay.
I can hold one.
Okay. It's like he's done this before.
This is kind of a good day because this is kind of the weather we're hunting in most of the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Foggy and
pretty much the West Kootenay weather right here. Yeah. Okay. Just gonna have a look at that one. I like this feature.
Yep.
Yeah. Way
a little bit easier to grab and turn.
Quicker when you got gloves on.
Yeah. The cold hands.
Ooh, that is different. I like the additional hash marks.
Yeah, so that's their Windplex.
Okay, so it's going to be going, I must have it the wrong, oh, that's wind.
Nope. Yeah.
Okay, so I do have it the right way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that allows you to compensate if you're shooting through a crosswind.
Is it clearer than the other one?
Yes,
it seems
should.
clear.
Yeah. It'll be a higher quality glass on that
Yeah.
scope, absolutely.
Wow. John, why did you do this to me? You see,
want you to know your options.
if I had gone online and I had never come and talked to you at the store,
Yep.
I would have bought that one.
Yep.
I would, all day long, that's what I was coming in to buy.
Yep.
Until I looked through this.
So that 6-point appears a little bit easier.
Yes, and when we got to deal with antler restrictions like this year where I just keep seeing 5s,
Yep.
and I'm trying to put that extra tine on that on
Yep.
the elk so I can get an elk. There's one up there, a 5x6, and he's just got a tiny little bit of a 6-point.
Yep.
And I cannot see enough to be confident to pull the trigger.
Yeah, no, good optics makes a world of difference when it comes to, especially the antler restrictions that we deal with around here.
For sure.
It allows you to, confirm that is a legal animal
It's
versus
the
one that
clarity.
you have to pass off. And on that scope, you're also going to get a little bit more magnification.
Yes, I
The
see
3
that.
to 15 instead of the 3.5 to 10.
Wow.
So you're getting a little bit lower magnification for those in-close shots.
Yeah.
And a little higher magnification if you have to reach out a little bit farther.
Which I like the 3 because I hunt a lot of thick country.
Yep.
Well, that's this area. So what did this do again?
So that's for your parallax. So that's focusing your reticle to your target.
Okay, so if I go what would I see it more on? If I was on 3 on the stop sign down there? Or if I
Probably
had
need to go a farther distance.
Okay, so
Most scopes are generally focused for 150 meters.
okay,
So when you get, like, I think the top houses over there are just over 600 meters. And you're about 400 to the buildings up that way.
so you would have it normally sitting at 100 yards.
Yep. Whatever you think, is going to be your kind of up and shoot.
Yeah. Okay. It's the clarity of this glass. It's not any of the extra features.
Yep.
It's the fact that it's so much more clear than that one.
Yep.
And they're really not much difference, and the weight isn't really much different.
Nope. You're going to a slightly smaller front objective,
Yeah.
but with that clarity,
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm
yeah,
just
it
gonna
doesn't feel that way.
Oh yeah. You shouldn't have done that to me.
Sorry, we just like to let you know.
What's the price difference between those two?
I'll have to go and take a look. There's a slight price difference.
'Kay.
But,
What a difference.
if you put it over the next 30 years, it works out to a few dollars a year.
And maybe being able to eat an elk
Yeah.
and not eat an elk.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you can see a 1-inch tine.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, no, I've, personally had to let a few great bulls that I'm pretty sure were illegal walk away just
'Cause of
I
bad
couldn't
glass.
confirm it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. That one's adequate.
Yeah.
But it's not adequate when you got this much tine.
Yeah, if it was just looking for a bull, then it's not as significant.
Right.
But when you have to count, the 4th point on a mule deer like we do, or the 6th point on an elk, or is that, moose, a spike fork,
Exactly.
you need to know for sure.
Okay, let's go inside and we'll check
Okay.
the difference on the price.
Absolutely.
Is that the little thing you were talking
cleaning
about
cloth,
that you
yeah.
don't wreck your scope when you
Yeah,
use this?
absolutely.
Where's this when the big bull elk jumps up? What pocket is it in?
What you need to get is the covers for it.
Yeah,
They make some aluminum ones that actually twist right in.
we're going to leave with those.
They thread in. They got an O-ring gasket in them.
Perfect.
I absolutely got a moose one day because of them. The loophole system, it's threaded right in. They've threaded both the eyepiece and the front objective lens.
Oh, okay.
So they thread right in. They don't hang out very far, just a little tab sticks out. And once you get used to it, there's actually a plunger on the back one.
Oh, okay.
So you're not trying to pull backwards.
Yeah.
You just, as you come up, you hit that plunger, opens up that lens, and as you come by this one,
Oh, geez.
catch the
okay.
tab on that.
I don't think I need to take these outside.
No.
I know what to expect from Leopold binoculars, and I've been researching this for quite a while and reading everything I could online.
Yep.
And for a $1,000 glass, they say this is as good as it gets for
Yep.
$1,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's what I use myself.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Such a personal preference thing, eh?
Yep.
It's like setting up your golf clubs.
I had a gentleman that, I mounted it in his, you could get the levels on perfectly. And it's way off. He picked up his rifle and he lifted his elbow.
Yeah.
So set it up to whoever's shooting it. Try that.
Yeah, that's good. That's where it needs to be.
So it's been quite a journey
It has, yeah.
as we go from knowing nothing about trapping,
Yeah.
knowing just a little bit more than nothing now, and learning. I guess the journey was acquiring the trap line and all the paperwork that went along with that,
Yeah.
and the steps and hurdles we had to go through, learning the rules.
Yes.
And all the regulations, and then fixing up the cabin so that it's inhabitable, because it was pretty rough when we got it,
Yeah.
and learning the proper ways to trap, so we could catch the base species, which was martin,
Yeah.
because we need to get at least $200 worth of fur every year.
Sure.
So the easiest way to do that is martin. And then learning how important friends are.
Knowing who you can pick up the phone and just say, hey, can you get me out of here? You
Yeah.
know? And our friends really stepped up this year, you know, helped us. And I think they enjoy it too, you know. Get out
Most
of
of
the
them
house.
do.
Yeah.
Some of them get a little nervous when the sun goes down and you got a creek sled in the creek.
Sure.
It makes some people nervous. Trapping's not for everybody.
No.
It's a test of your skills, a test of your knowledge.
Yeah.
And you have to stay calm out there. And it's our line is very close to town, so it's not as severe as some of the ones way up north.
Yeah.
But you got to still have your wits about you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been interesting getting to know our community as well, not just our friends. And some of the people that are showing up for the fur buying event last year.
It's amazing how many young people are getting into it.
Yes.
And it's really surprising until you get into the community how diverse the group is.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
not your standard big bearded, you know,
Yeah.
40 to 65, 70-year-old trapper that you would see in a magazine. There's a few of those still, but there's a real changing of the guard. People from all walks of life are getting
Yeah.
into trapping. It is far from dead or dying. It is actually probably growing, I would say, because people want to get back to the more natural way of living.
Yes.
Primitive skills
Skills.
are alive and well, and people are interested in it, and they want to relearn or at least not lose the primitive skills that we've acquired over many thousands of years as humans on this earth, and they want to be a part of the balance between wildlife and humans, and not damage that, but also find ways to use the natural resources in naturally sourced products.
Yeah, it's been really exciting to see our evolution from the beginning of buying the trap line and the difficulties involved with that. It was fun taking the course with Bob and Hayden.
You bet.
That was really fun. And then just learning as we go, trying different things, you know.
So much to learn. We only are probably 5 or 10% of what most trappers know.
Yeah,
We
but
just
that comes with time and experience.
You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something you can learn in a few seasons.
No.
It's like a big chess game in the forest, and it takes a long time to learn, especially with a trap line like ours. We have very small, limited trap line, limited resources on our line, and it's small. So you got to be careful not to over trap it, and there just isn't a lot of animals to target, and you don't want to over trap it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not like a 100-kilometer line up north or 50 to 100 is more normal. Here our line, everybody asks me all the time, it's probably between 16 and 20 kilometers square. It's almost a square. So it's probably maybe 15, 16 kilometers wide and about 20 kilometers long. That's it. So it seems bigger when you're out there, when you cover the whole thing, but you got to be very careful not to overtrap.
Yeah.
You just want to take a sample group of the species so that you can do your reports for the government.
And we really are limited to the road access that we do have. It's not like we can just go, oh, I think I'll blow a road through there, right?
Exactly.
You're on the road. That's it.
You are at the mercy of the roads, and you saw when we tried to go through old trapping trails and roads and jumping creeks, what a nightmare that is.
Yeah.
So it's always easier to trap off the logging roads if they leave the bridges in and don't put too many cross stitches in. Obviously, with cross stitches and broken down bridges, those are all challenges and obstacles we have to get around.
Sure.
So when they pull out the resource roads, it makes it very difficult
Yeah.
to get around on a trapline. There's a lot of user groups that you have to make sure you don't impact.
It's a beautiful country, and I'm glad we've had the ability to show it to everybody and share, you know, our joy of the outdoors there.
But it's time to close the window, folks. We're going to get back to quietly going about what we do.
You mean our full-time jobs?
Yeah, full-time jobs as well. Full-time jobs for Jackie, full-time job. It's been 2 full-time jobs. One editing and filming, and one at a regular full-time job.
Yeah. But I've enjoyed every minute and sharing with you guys, and I hope you did too.
You bet. Thank you for joining us. New friends, old friends, and the whole trapping community has been great, and the crafting community has been great. We will see you on down the line. WestKOutdoors has been brought to you by Central Island Rentals and Sales, Canadian Coyote Company, home of the Seneca snares and so much more. WestKOutdoors, so much more than just a trapping show. Check us out online.
I'm looking to see how full they are, and the difference between a BC coyote and an Alberta coyote is the color.